A very good morning to my lovely children of grade 6. How are you all? Hope you all are studying properly. Welcome to your social science class with your teacher Jyoti Arya. In today's class, children, we are going to read chapter number 4 from your history. That is what books and burials tell us. You must have visit your library, children, thousands of times. There are books related to drama, mystery, adventure, everything, comic, what you want to read. But have you seen the books of your ancient times? Well, in this chapter, we will read about those books related to our ancient time. So, without wasting the time, let's start with it.
बुक्स एंड बरियल्स टेल अस, यानी कि किताबें जो हमें मिली हैं एंशियंट टाइम्स में और जो हमें बरियल्स मिले हैं, बरियल्स ये जो वर्ड है ये आया है बरी से, BURY। दैट मीन्स किसी चीज़ को गाड़ना या दफनाना। तो जिन लोगों को उस वक्त गाड़ा गया या दफनाया गया वो बरियल्स हमें क्या बताते हैं। इस चैप्टर में हम बात करेंगे वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट बुक्स इन द वर्ल्ड। दुनिया भर में जितनी भी किताबें हैं, एंशियंट टाइम्स की जो किताबें हैं उनमें से सबसे पुरानी किताबों में से एक वेदों के बारे में। और हम जानेंगे संस्कृत एंड संस्कृत से मिलती जुलती तमाम अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस के बारे में। नेक्स्ट इज लाइव्स ऑफ वेरियस पीपल। In this section, we will read about the people, how they were living, how they were spending their life that time. Next is Silent Sentinels. Silent Sentinels में हम बात करेंगे story of megaliths की. Sentinels means पहरेदार. तो Silent Sentinels means खामोश पहरेदार. इसमें हम बात करेंगे story of megaliths की. Liths यानी कि पत्थर एंड मेगालिथ्स मीन्स बहुत बड़े बड़े पत्थर। अ क्लोजर लुक में हम बात करेंगे इनाम गांव के बारे में एंड एल्सवेयर सेक्शन में हम बात करेंगे चाइनीज सिविलाइजेशन के बारे में। व्हाट बुक्स एंड बरियल्स टेल अस। वी कैन नेवर थिंक ऑफ अ लाइब्रेरी एंड अ बरियल प्लेस टुगेदर, राइट? They are very different places used for different purposes. One is where we go to learn and the other is where we go to the bid goodbye to our loved ones. One place makes us happy and the other makes us sad. But they have one thing in common. Both of them teach us many things about our country, culture and our ancestors. Let's find out about them. Let's find out what we can learn from books and burial places. The oldest books. As we all have gone to the library and have seen a lot of books in the library, there are different types of books related to drama, mystery, horror, religious, action and adventure. Today we are going to study about one of the oldest books in the world called Vedas. The 4 types of Vedas are Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharva Veda. Let's see what is Rig Veda. Rig Veda is one of the oldest Veda that has more than thousands of hymns. What is a hymn? Well, hymn is like a prayer or the lines written in praise of gods, or we can call them suktas. What do you mean by suktas? Suktas means well said. That means the suktas were the sayings. Initially, Rig Veda sayings were only recited. They were not in the written form and they were later composed and printed less than 200 years ago. Rishi and the sages were the ones who laid down the suktas and the other hymns. In the Rig Veda, there are three gods who were mentioned. They were Agni, the god of fire, Indra, the warrior god, and Soma, a plant from which a drink was prepared. The Rig Veda was written in Old or Vedic Sanskrit, which was very different from the Sanskrit which we have today. Sanskrit is a part of a family of languages known as Indo-European. There are 5 Indian languages such as Assamese, Gujarati, Hindi, Kashmiri and Sindhi, and 6 European languages such as English, French, German, Greek, Italian and Spanish, those who belongs to Indo-European family. Let's see what is Samaveda. Well, Samaveda talks about the musical notes and the chantings. What Yajurveda says? It talks about the various rituals and the sacrifices made. What Atharvaveda said? It talks about various spells and charms. Describing people. Rig Veda talks about the life of the people and the various books describe the sacrifices done by the people. These people were described or differentiated in the terms of the work they do, the languages they speak, the place they belong to, their family, their community and cultural practices. Mainly they were divided into groups based on their work as Brahmins or priests. The priests, also called Brahmins, were the one who performed various rituals and sacrifices. Rajas performed rituals. Rajas were asked to perform the rituals, but at that time they were not like the Rajas what we know today. They did not have any capital city or palaces or army, nor did they collect any taxes, as they did not have any concept of their sons automatically succeeding their father. Later on, they made their regions well known as Janpads or Mahajanpads. Then the kings started to maintain their army and collect taxes. Janavish, common man. The common man was called Jan or Vish, which was derived from Vaishya. This Jan was further divided into Purujana, Bharatjana and Yadujana. Aryas composed hymns. The Aryas composed the hymns. Dasas and Dasyas, slaves captured from the war. Then we have Dasas who were males and the Dasyas who were females, and they were considered as slaves. They were captured in wars by the opponent's army. They were treated as the property of their owners who could make them do whatever work they wanted. Let's read about megaliths and burial. While the Rig Veda was being composed in the northwest of the subcontinent, there were other developments also, like constructing buildings. Now let's talk about the type of buildings and burials of this period. When we talk about the burial, the most important feature of it was the big stone boulders known as megaliths. These megaliths were used on the burial sites to mark the burial areas. The practice of erecting megaliths began about 3000 years ago and was prevalent throughout the Deccan, in the northeast and Kashmir. There were also surface as well as ground megaliths, and they were known as cists. All these burial graves have something common in them. Generally, the dead were buried with food and water in the pots called black and red ware. Now, on the burial sites, we have a demarcation between males and females. The skeletons of females were found with more jewelry compared to the skeletons of male, as males were also using jewelry at that time. To check out that the skeleton was of male or female, the pelvic area was checked. The pelvic area, which was larger in size, was considered of a woman due to the childbearing capacity. Thus, there were various differences found in the skeleton during the excavation. Brahmagiri. Brahmagiri was one of the sites where a huge number of burials was seen. Burials were mainly in the form of skeletons. Along with the skeleton, there were beads, bangles, shells, etc. Inamgaon. Inamgaon was also one of the case study mentioned in the books. It is a site on the river Ghaud and tributary of the Bhima. It was occupied between 3600 and 2700 years ago. Here adults were generally buried in the ground, laid out straight with the heads towards the north. Sometimes burials were within the house along with the pots of red and black in color containing food and water. There was one classic example of a man who was found buried in a large four-legged clay jar in the courtyard of a 5-roomed house. That is one of the largest houses at that site. This house also had a granary. The body was placed in a cross-legged position. Archaeologists have also found seeds of wheat, barley, rice, pulses, millets, peas and sesame. Bones of a number of animals and many bearing cut marks that show may have been used as food have also been found. These include cattle, buffalo, goat, sheep, dog, horse, pig, sambar, hare and mongoose. There are also some examples of the skeleton of some animals of China. The special thing about this skeleton was oracle bones. These bones were the bones of the animals and have some writings on them. The most interesting part about the bones was that these bones were heated and cracked. Based on the shape they get after cracking, the fortune was predicted by the fortune teller. Definitely there were mistakes, but it was a common practice in the major part of China. At that time, kings in China used to live in palaces. They had large quantities of wealth, including large, elaborately decorated bronze vessels in contrast to the kings of India. There was no use of iron seen in the Chinese region at that time.
I hope the chapter is clear to everybody. So, till our next video come, take care, stay safe. Goodbye everyone.